This is QTV News. I am Marietu Sidibe and thanks for joining us. Coming up, as testimonies from journalists continue, Ndaitafa Sose, former GPU president, and Malik Mboob, a former State House correspondent, took the stand. Between them, we heard more tales of repression, torture, and executions. The Gambia Press Union has organized a consultative forum for the legal profession to discuss freedom of expression and access to information matters. A young artist tells about how he started and what inspires his art. The Gambia is blighted by a lack of public recreational facilities for children. For more on this and other stories, stay tuned. Ndaitafa Sose, the former president of the Gambia Press Union, appearing at the ongoing TRRC public hearings, gave chilling details of attempts by the former regime to extradite her to the Gambia after she fled into exile in 2009. Also testifying was former Daily Observer State House correspondent Malik Mboob, who testified on his arrest and detention at the NIA headquarters in May 2006. QTV's Ansumana Esonyasi is covering the TRRC proceedings, and he now reports.
Two witnesses on Thursday appeared before commissioners of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission. They were Ndaitafa Sose, a former president of the Gambia Press Union, and Malik Mboob, a former Daily Observer State House correspondent. Their testimonies focused mainly on their respective ordeals working as journalists under the Jammeh regime, attempts to extradite the former GPU president after she fled into exile, and the arrest, detention and torture of Malik Mboob. First up was Ndaitafa Sose. She told the commission that her troubles began after she took part in a procession organized by the press union and media blackout held in honor of journalist Deda Haidara, who was assassinated days earlier. She revealed that she was the only female newspaper editor-in-chief in the country at the time of the incident. However, she believes the Jammeh regime started hunting for her after she wrote a response to a statement made by the former president, who was asked in a televised interview whether the government had made any findings as to who orchestrated Mr. Haidara's murder.
The Gambia government has targeted you on a number of occasions. Yeah. You talked about being on a blacklist, and so you couldn't renew your Gambian passport, ended up with a Malian passport. Now you've talked about being on a blacklist, which is why you were stopped when you went to Harare, and they wanted to deport you back to the Gambia. Did the Gambian government target you in any other way?
Oh, certainly. The Minister of Foreign Affairs at the time met with the Malian Foreign Minister first in Kampala, I believe this was 2011, and told the Foreign Minister that President Jammeh was not happy at all with Tete of Mali because they were giving me a platform to destabilize the Gambia.
Who was the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Gambia at the time?
The current Minister, Mamadou Tangra.
Okay.
Yeah. And he did not stop at that. He had this conversation again with the minister, and he personally came to Mali to tell them that the president wanted me extradited to the Gambia and that I was involved in activities, again, to destabilize the government. Technically, that I was organizing a coup d'etat.
Furthermore, she alleged that the Jammeh administration had made several attempts to extradite her after she fled into exile in Mali. While in Mali, she alleged that she met a former member of the former president's hit squad, the Junglers. She alleged that the said Jungler told her of the various tactics they employed to kill their targets and went as far as providing her with a list of senior journalists who were on the hit squad's radar for execution. She also alleged that she once met the purported leader of the 1981 foil coup, Kukoy Samba Sanyang, in Mali, and explained how she supported Gambians who were living in exile, especially in Mali and Senegal. Next up was Malik Mboob, former Daily Observer State House correspondent, who was arrested, detained and severely tortured at the NIA headquarters for allegedly sending information about the former president's mother's health condition to Mr. Panderimbai, editor of the US-based Freedom newspaper. Narrating his ordeal at the hands of the torturers, he alleged that he was arrested after the Freedom newspaper reported that the former president's mother was admitted at the RVTH hospital in Banjul. As public relations officer of the hospital at the time, he was the prime suspect, and as such, he was arrested and placed in a tiny cell at the NIA headquarters.
I saw my statement because Musa brought in a file that the statement that I wrote in the afternoon
Musa brought that file. I don't know where he got that file from. So, and said, the first thing he asked me was, Malik, do you know the meaning of dictator? I define it. Are you telling me that President Jammeh is a dictator? I said yes. The other question is, he said, I am not happy with what you wrote. The statement you wrote, I am not happy with it. One, I've already told the president that you are the prime suspect, so otherwise means I am lying, and you know the consequences. One, I'll give you two options, Malik. You rewrite your story by yourself, sign, based on what I'm going to dictate you. Or we will write the story for you, the statement for you, and you sign. I told him, Musa, it's either you kill me, but I will not change my statement. He is expected to reappear before the commission on Monday, July 15, 2019, as there was not enough time for him to give any extensive details of his detention and torture. Ansumana Isonyasi for QTV News.
The Gambia Press Union, in collaboration with the Judiciary and the Gambia Bar Association, is organizing a two-day consultative forum on freedom of expression and information for the legal fraternity, including members of the bench.
In 2017, the United Nations Democracy Fund approved a grant of $220,000 for the Gambia Press Union to implement the project titled Enhancing Media Government Relations to Improve the Legal Environment for Freedom of Expression in the Gambia. Since then, the GPU has worked with a range of national and international actors, state and non-state, towards promoting an enabling environment for the exercise and enjoyment of the rights to the freedom of expression as a catalyst strengthening democracy and sustainable development. Addressing the gathering, Femi Falana, a freedom of expression and litigation expert, said 22 countries have ratified the freedom of expression law, with the Gambia among those that are yet to do so.
The Adama Barrow regime is doing very well in the area of human rights in Africa. In fact, the Gambia is one of the leading countries in the defense of human rights today. And I do hope that the people of the Gambia will be vigilant and ensure that we do not lower the standard. However, 22 African countries have enacted the access to information laws, 22. Curiously, the Gambia is missing from that list. But I have been assured that the government is taking steps to ensure that the Freedom of Information Law is passed.
Saliu Tal, president of the Gambia Bar Association, in his solidarity speech, thanked the GPU for facilitating the gathering.
It is, without a doubt, that one of the surest ways of safeguarding and consolidating a democracy, or our democracy, is to ensure that freedom of expression is not only upheld as fundamental right in our books, but jealously guided by all stakeholders and guardians of our democracy. Every citizen is a stakeholder, every citizen is a guardian of our democracy.
The Minister of Justice, Abubakar Tambadou, said freedom of expression and information is a priority for the government.
Also be the amendment of the Information and Communications Act, the amendment of the Telegraphs Act, the repeal of the Newspaper and Broadcasting Stations Act to be replaced with a General Media Act, and generally the repealing of all laws that unjustifiably criminalize the exercise of free speech. More fundamentally, you have all seen a marked improvement in the area of freedom of expression and the media since the change of government. There has been a proliferation of private radio stations and newspapers. Radio stations do not only host discussions and debates about political issues in the country, but ordinary citizens are now encouraged to call in during these discussions and to express their opinions and views, including at times very strong criticisms of government policies and programs.
Justice Gabriel Semegajane of the Supreme Court said the consultative meeting aims to strengthen the lawyer-judge relationship in enhancing a legal environment for freedom of expression.
This consultative meeting is indeed quite opportune, since it will discuss, among other matters, freedom of expression and information, the issue of defamation cases in court, and the role of judges in promoting human rights and democracy.
The consultative forum aims to review the draft-pressed bar and bench guidelines regarding news coverage of matters dealing with the administration of justice in the Gambia, having regard at all times the right of the public to know. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
Children in the Gambia lack an adequate level of public recreational facilities and playgrounds. The two identified public recreational facilities are in Banjul and at the buffer zone. However, both are in neglected state and out of use. Maria Tussar tells us more.
Recreational parks and centers are important for the improvement of children's health. In the Gambia, children would rather play at home or in the streets, which has led to a series of accidents, instead of enjoying the luxuries that children in other countries have. With only two public recreational facilities, the one in Banjul Makati Square is now out of use, and during the rainy season is completely filled with water. A student of St. Augustine Junior School urged the government to renovate playing ground in the Makati Square.
All the things in this playground got destroyed since 2009. Since then, most of the kids are sitting at home and gaining weight every day. I would like the government to rehabilitate the playground for us.
Come here and make for us this playground so that the water, when the water comes, it will enter inside the gutters.
The playground in buffer zone is now turned into a marketplace, thereby stopping children from using it. Dr. Abubakar Jah explains the health benefits of recreational facilities to children. He says most of the obesity cases amongst children is as a result of lack of exercise.
One of the most distressing problems that we're having now in children is obesity in children. So excessive weight in children. And this is not a surprise. This is because children are getting more and more sedentary lifestyle, which means that they are sitting doing everything that they do. So they go to school, they don't do much activities in school, they're in class most of the time. When they come back home, they're on their computers, they're on their cell phones, they're no longer going around playing as much as they were playing before, and the types of food that they're eating. And therefore, there's a lot of obesity. And obesity in children is a very dangerous thing, because one of the problems with that is that when you are obese as a child, you're likely to be obese as an adult. And you're likely to have some of these bad diseases like diabetes. Even in children, when they're obese, they get more diabetes. Even in children, they can get high blood pressure. When they grow old, they also grow old with those diseases. So they have high blood pressure, they have diabetes, they have high cholesterol, they have heart problems. So it is really a very dangerous thing.
Obesity has become one of the main public health problems worldwide. The childhood obesity rate is growing very fast in both developed and developing countries. Children need to be active every day to promote their healthy growth and development. Reporting for QTV News, I am Maria Tussar.
We will go with a short commercial break, and the news continues when we return.
QCell proudly brings you yet another new number series, the 52 and 53 number series. We now have a massive subscriber base of 1.2 million that is still expanding. So QCell is also expanding its number series to accommodate more people as they join our amazing network. The new 52 and 53 number series have the same fantastic services and the same great charges as the 3, 50 and 51 number series. No different. Call, text, browse the net and roam all over the world with the 52 and 53 number series. There are no limits as you communicate with the Gambia's trusted network. QCell Sunyubus, the Gambia's quality network.
Looking for a fun and interesting way for your kids to spend summer holidays? Then look no further than Q City Summer Camp. The Q City Summer Camp has various activities to keep your kids aged 6 to 16 years occupied and entertained throughout the summer holidays. Ranging from football, basketball, tennis, swimming, dance aerobics, tug of war, musical chairs, indoor and outdoor playgrounds, bouncing castles, and many more jam-packed activities. Q City Summer Camp commences from the 19th of July to the 6th of September. It costs only $150 Cs per day and $500 C per week only. Delicious food is served and available from our Q City food court. Rush and book now because spaces are limited. For more information, call 3372489 or 3655463 or visit our website qcity.gm.
60,000 sticks of chalk were presented to the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education on Monday. The items were donated by Badibu Society UK. Babukar Sise reports.
Badibu Society UK is a UK-based charity set up to help the poor, the needy, and extend relief and development projects in the Gambia. The writing materials will be distributed to 147 lower and upper basic schools and secondary schools in the North Bank region and other regions of the country. Handing over the items, Siaka Jata, presidential advisor and a member of Badibu Society, explains how they raise funds and also call on others to emulate the organization.
It's a society. We don't have money from anywhere, from our own pockets, from our sweat and money that we put together every month, £5. £5, that's about $250 to $300 every month. That's what we put together. There are some people who normally come and give. That is not their contribution. They help too. So we all should emulate what is happening in Badibu so that everybody can enjoy it. Like an example of Red Cross, it started with one man and now everybody is a member. So when they started with Badibu, don't see only the name, see the benefit of what is happening with the money that we are giving out. So I thank everybody, especially the education, to advise them to take this to the needy people who need it. That's the purpose of these jobs for the schools. And I think they will do that. Government cannot do it alone. This is our part we are playing.
Receiving the items, Usman Ba, Regional Director for Region 1, says the chalks will be very handy and that education is a strong pillar in a country's development.
We know that government cannot do it alone, but we are all part of government because we are all Gambians. And this is the Gambia, and it is us, the citizens, that should take the lead to develop our country. And we know the cornerstone of development is education. Once we have an educated populace, then we have a very good step for our development. We look at the whole world, wherever we see development is education. So, and I think if you are giving this to education, you are also contributing to the development of the country in no small way, in a big way. 60,000 chalks is not a small donation, it's a big donation. We, at the level of the ministry, we appreciate it on behalf of government. And we want to assure you that it will be put into good use because our schools need it, our children need it, our teachers need it. And together, I think we can be able to use it properly to enhance education in this country. So once again, we want to thank you and we want to encourage you to continue this. And we want to encourage others who are out there to be able to help the country to move forward.
According to representatives of Badibu Society UK, the society embarked on a lot of projects in the past year. 189 schools across the country benefited from a similar donation of blackboard chalks. Also, over $130,000 worth of hospital materials was donated to Farafenni General Hospital and families affected by the windstorm that destroyed houses in URR received cash donations. Babukar Sise, QTV News.
A young Gambian practitioner of the arts is using his brush to voluntarily paint the Gambia's capital city. Good at both performing and fine art, he has something to show the world in his representation of the Gambia at international competitions. Momodu Lamin Choi had a face-to-face with the past master at a street in Banjul and files this report.
Born and raised in Banjul, The streets of the capital city were literally the bedrock which nurtured his potential in the field of art. Ambitious and dedicated since an early age, art in the street was the only option for a growing lad who couldn't find an art school but had his brush and paint both day and night to practice on wall. His ability to use the paint and brush is a gift inherited from his father. He might have only been refining his inherited skills in the streets at an early age, but the community residents of Banjul couldn't escape the attraction of artistic beauty in his artworks. It was everywhere. His affinity with street art remains. That is why his work is labeled Arum Bedabi, art of the street.
Arum Bedabi, it started in Banjul. That's why many people in Banjul know me. Before I was hiding the talent. Whenever I'm doing this artwork on the street, I used to wait till it was late at the night when everyone is sleeping. Then I do my thing on the wall because I was thinking that it's illegal. But later on, I see that people start appreciating it and asking, wow, who is this guy doing these works on the wall? It's very nice. He's playing a part towards the development of our community too. Then I started to expose my job.
This landscapist has something to show the world with pride. In his representation of the Gambia at international competitions, his knowledge from street art was a mystery to the Chinese. Learning art in the street instead of within the four walls of the classroom is what they could not believe, he reveals. In a performance which showed he had fully realized the earlier potential shown, he won medals for the Gambia at an exhibition organized by the Chinese government.
Even many people can do to the outside world. Because of later on at the journey, we were called to train some of their children, their kids at the university in China, to develop another part of arts. So I'm just advising every good artist to try to touch all the branches of arts, not only to depend on abstract or portraits, but try to do all, combine one, all in one.
Without art, people cannot survive. No art, no beauty are the philosophy of this artist, and he adds that his work is to show realities of the world. Being an all-rounder, he also does performing art. In other words, he does music. This makes him a both fine and performing artist.
Rabbi mangi ñëw wone man ni nam bokk ma ak ñoom fa ma gis maa ngi rab dellu jàngi rab maa leen daa xarab wax ma kan nga yàpp di nga nangu do ko bañ di nga sol danga ko benn bul ñu bañ duñu benn bokku yoon duñu benn jëbalu ñoo bañ ngeen golo golo ngeen bokku ñoo yéen gem gon may taaru mbind mi yëkkati mbind mi foggati unda bi dëggati punda bi dëgg si dina yaay mun jolof la gam rap.
The work of art is usually inspiration-driven. His inspiration comes from the experience of people, and I wanted to know what feeling makes the magic that comes out in his artistic works.
Through people affairs, or I take through people problems, then I portray it in my arts. And to send message and to advise the people. And most of the time I do most of my abstract paints is the time when I'm feeling anger, when I'm feeling stressed, nervous. That's the time when I do most beautiful works.
The Gambia has no school, college or university specializing in both the fine and applied art. The art industry cannot grow in such a situation. What keeps artists moving might not be incentives, but their burning desire to bring happiness and beauty in the Gambia. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Before we end this bulletin of the news, let's take a quick look at our main stories. Ndeye Tafa Sose, the former president of the Gambia Press Union, appearing at the ongoing TRRC public hearings, gave chilling details of attempts by the former regime to extradite her to the Gambia after she fled into exile in 2009. Also testifying was former Daily Observer State House correspondent Malik Mboob, who testified on his arrest and detention at the NIA headquarters in May 2006. The Gambia Press Union, in collaboration with the Judiciary and the Gambia Bar Association, is organizing a 2-day consultative forum on freedom of expression and information for the legal fraternity, including members of the bench. Children in the Gambia lack an adequate level of public recreational facilities and playgrounds. The two identified public recreational facilities are in Banjul and at the buffer zone. However, both are in neglected state and out of use. A young Gambian practitioner of the arts is using his brush to voluntarily paint the Gambia's capital city. Good at both performing and fine art, he has something to show the world in his representation of the Gambia at international competitions. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you for watching.